Hello and welcome to the day ahead. It is Tuesday, July the 1st. I'm Andrew Gagan. Well, the local market is set to open marginally lower with ASX futures down 6 points. Global stocks hit an intraday record on Monday with investor sentiment boosted by progress in US trade negotiations. However, European equity markets finished in the red. Wall Street saw more records with the S&P 500 and Nasdaq reaching new highs, ending their best quarter in more than a year. Over the 3 months, the S&P gained 10.5%, the Nasdaq rose almost 18%, while the Dow climbed 5%, and the small cap Russell 2000 index was up more than 8%. Overnight among the Mag 7 stocks, Meta was among the best performers, and shares of tech companies rose following Canada's move to scrap its digital services tax in a bid to jumpstart stalled trade talks with the US. Shares of Oracle rose after signing a cloud services agreement that's expected to contribute more than $30 billion to annual revenue beginning in fiscal year 28. Shares of the big US banks rose after most cleared the Federal Reserve's annual stress test, paving the way for billions in stock buybacks and dividends. And Hewlett-Packard shares surged after the Department of Justice settled an antitrust lawsuit against its $14 billion takeover of Juniper Networks. First Solar also rising. Well, US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has warned that countries could still face sharply higher tariffs come the July 9th trade negotiation deadline, saying we have countries that are negotiating in good faith, but they should be aware that if we can't get across the line because they've been recalcitrant, then we could spring back to the April 2 levels. Meanwhile, Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic has warned that the impact of President Trump's trade tariffs are yet to be felt, saying, I think there's actually more pricing to come. And it's more a question of time, of when and not if. And President Trump has resumed his criticism of the Fed and Chair Jerome Powell, posting on social media that you should lower the rate by a lot, hundreds of billions being lost. We should be paying 1% interest or better. Well, meanwhile, US Senate Republicans are attempting to pass President Trump's sweeping tax cut and spending bill, which would extend his 2017 tax cuts while cutting other taxes and boosting spending on the military and border security. Trump wants the bill passed before the July 4th Independence Day holiday. US Treasury yields have eased with the 2-year down to 3.7%, the 10-year around 4.23%, and the US dollar has fallen to a near 4-year low against the euro amid concerns over the rising US government deficit and uncertainty surrounding trade deals with major countries. This comes on reports that the EU is open to accepting a trade agreement with the US that would apply a universal 10% tariff on many of its exports. The Aussie dollar has climbed to 65.8 US cents, and Bitcoin is trading around 107,000 US dollars. Oil prices edged lower as investors weighed easing Middle East risks and a possible OPEC Plus output increase in August. Brent futures down marginally at $67 a barrel. Copper has fallen close to 0.5%. Iron ore is down 1% at $94 a tonne. And gold has been boosted by a weaker US dollar. Spot gold up 1% at $3,300 an ounce. Well, locally today, Cotality has released its home value index with national prices rising 0.6% in June, marking a 5th straight month of growth. That is your day ahead. We'll see you again tomorrow.